The sun was setting on Coruscant, casting long shadows across the city's skyline. Inside the Jedi Temple, tension was at an all-time high. Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, was torn between his loyalty to the Jedi and his love for Padme Amidala, his wife. The war was nearing its end, but a darker storm was brewing within the heart of the Republic. Anakin had been asked by Mace Windu to stay in the Jedi Council chambers while Windu and a small strike team went to confront Chancellor Palpatine, who had been revealed to be the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Sidious. In the original timeline, Anakin's impatience and fear for Padme's life drove him to the Chancellor's office, where he ultimately made the choice to interfere with Windu and Sidious's face-off, which led to his fall to the dark side. But what if Anakin had stayed in the Jedi Council chambers as Mace Windu instructed?
I must go, Master.
No. If what you've told me is true, you will have gained my trust. But for now, remain here. Wait in the Council chambers until we return.
Yes, Master.
Our story begins right after Mace Windu gives instruction to Anakin to stay behind. He sensed the confusion inside of Anakin and knew it would be too risky to bring Anakin along with the confrontation. Anakin grudgingly agreed to stay behind and headed up to the council chambers. As Anakin paced around the floor of the council chambers, he felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. The room, usually a place of calm deliberation, now felt like a cage. The thoughts of Padme's potential death and childbirth gnawed at his mind, but he tried to focus on the teachings of the Jedi. He remembered Master Yoda's advice.
What must I do, Master Yoda?
Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
Minutes felt like hours. Anakin's connection to the Force was strong, and he could sense the battle between Mace Windu and Palpatine. He could feel the struggle, the clashing of lightsabers, and the waves of dark and light side energies clashing. He fought the urge to rush into Palpatine's office, to intervene, to take control. Suddenly, the Force gave him a vision. He saw Mace Windu standing over a defeated Palpatine, his violet blade poised for the final strike. Anakin's heart pounded. If Palpatine died, he might not be able to save Padme. He remembered his teachings and Qui-Gon's words. Trust in the Force. He took a deep breath and steadied himself. Meanwhile, in Palpatine's office, Mace Windu and his Jedi strike team, Kit Fisto, Agen Kalar, and Saisys Tien, had confronted the Sith Lord. The battle was fierce, but Windu's mastery of a pod allowed him to channel Palpatine's dark side Force abilities back at him. One by one, Palpatine had dispatched the other Jedi until it was only him and Windu. However, the duel between Windu and Sidious grew even more intense. Blows went back and forth, but Windu's Vipod allowed the ever so slightly upper hand over Sidious. Sidious never imagined he could be bested by a single Jedi, so this was shocking to him. He always planned out this scenario where if he were confronted by the Jedi, he would lose on purpose if Anakin was around as a way to turn Anakin to the dark side by pinning the Jedi as evil. However, this time around, Palpatine was not in control and was genuinely fighting for his life. Windu's lightsaber clashed with Palpatine's in a flurry of sparks and energy. Finally, Windu disarmed the Sith Lord and held his blade at Palpatine's throat as he was pressed up against the office window.
You are under arrest, my lord.
Windu declared, his voice steady. Palpatine, his face twisted in a mask of rage and fear, unleashed a torrent of force lightning. Windu deflected it with his lightsaber, but the strain was immense. Sidious could sense Anakin was out there and the conflict was inside of him, but Anakin never came to help. Sidious utilized his full power Sith lightning in a desperate attempt to kill Windu and survive, but with no interference from Anakin this time around. Mace Windu was never caught off guard and was able to fend off the lightning, as powerful as it was, much in due to his Vipod assisting him. Windu had originally intended to arrest Palpatine, but now with Sidious displaying this Sith lightning at full power, Windu decided he was too dangerous to be kept alive. Mace Windu drew back his lightsaber to swing. As Palpatine begged for his life, Windu saw through the deception and followed through. The Sith were no more. Back in the council chambers, Anakin felt the shift in the Force. The dark presence of Palpatine had diminished. He fell to his knees, overwhelmed with both relief and exhaustion. When Mace Windu returned, Anakin felt a wave of conflicting emotions. Relief that the Sith Lord was defeated, but growing anxiety about Padme's fate. When Mace returned, he told Anakin it was over. and that he had done well. He told Anakin to kneel, and this is where Mace Windu proclaimed Anakin Skywalker Jedi Master. You see, in canon, it was always Mace Windu's intention to make Anakin a master after confronting Palpatine. It truly was the final test to Anakin's loyalty. This is why Anakin was told to wait in the Jedi Council chambers in the first place. With Palpatine now gone, Order 66 was never realized, so the clones would stay loyal to the Jedi to the very end. Nobody in the galaxy that knew Order 66 existed was around anymore, so the Jedi wouldn't come near extinct. Following the battle at Palpatine's office, the Jedi Council moved quickly. With the evidence of Palpatine's Sith identity undeniable, they moved to take control of the Republic. The politicians could not be trusted for the time being. The Republic was in shock, but the Jedi had acted quickly to ensure a smooth transition of power. Bail Organa and Mon Mothma were appointed to oversee the restoration of the Senate's authority, with the Jedi Council leaders overseeing everything. This time, Anakin was incorporated more into the Council and their plans and treated as an equal. He had a big part of overseeing this transition in the Republic, but his bigger task for the time being was that of ending the war. With Count Dooku dead, General Grievous being recently defeated by Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the Sith behind the war and Palpatine defeated, the war was all but over. Separatist leaders such as Viceroy would be hunted down by a strike team led by Anakin Skywalker, where the remaining Separatist leaders could be found on Mustafar. It was here where Anakin and the 501st surrounded and captured Separatist leadership and questioned them promptly about the war and what commands Sidious had given them. It was here that they got to a common ground of sorts, as the Separatists now understood that they were being used by Darth Sidious to simply create chaos in the galaxy, to weaken the Republic and the Jedi. The Viceroy and other Separatist leaders promptly agreed to shut down their battle droid factories and end the war, assuming certain treaties and compromise were met to help out Separatist systems affected by the war. They, however, in secret kept Project Stardust plans hidden and kept it as an ace up their sleeve if conflicts were to ever escalate again. With the war over and peace restored, Anakin could now focus on the main problem at hand, his wife's health and preventing her death that he had seen in visions during her giving birth to his kids. He would do anything he could to do with his power to find a way to save her. Anakin's new status of Jedi Master allowed him to access the ancient Jedi texts and holocrons, which he hoped would contain the knowledge he needed to save Padme. With the help of Master Yoda and Obi-Wan, Anakin delved into the secrets of the Force. He learned techniques to Force heal if he were to ever need them. When the time came for Padme to give birth, Anakin was by her side this time. Anakin was prepared to use the Force to heal if he needed to, but to his surprise, he never needed to do anything. All that Padme really needed was her husband's support by her side during the births. It was a completely normal birthing process, and Luke and Leia were born healthy babies. Padme was doing just fine afterwards as well. Anakin's fears were now alleviated, and his love for Padme and their children deepened his commitment to the light side of the Force. With the Sith gone and the Republic in a state of recovery, the Jedi Order began to reform. Anakin, now as a Jedi Master, played a crucial role in bridging the gap between the Jedi and the Senate. His experiences throughout the Clone Wars has taught him many important things regarding balance and humility. The galaxy still scarred by the Clone Wars began to heal. The Senate under new leadership worked closely with the Jedi to ensure peace and justice. The prophecy of the Chosen One had been fulfilled, but not in the way anyone had expected. By staying in the council chambers, Anakin had made the choice that led to the downfall of the Sith and balance to the Force. It was his discovery of the Sith and key choices that led to their end and the balance of the Force. Eventually, Anakin would open up to his old master Obi-Wan about his relationship with Padme and his kids, not wanting to hide it any longer. To his surprise, Obi-Wan was not as critical as he anticipated on the matter. Obi-Wan said he could relate to this, as he had once loved the now-deceased Satine Kryze. The galaxy was at peace. Was it really that big of a deal for the Jedi to love others? Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi was allowed to make love to others of his own species. It would be hypocritical if others were chastised for it. Jedi like Mace Windu and Yoda would not be excited at first at the prospect of Anakin having kids, but reflecting back on how Anakin was able to control his emotions and suppress his fear when Mace fought Palpatine, they ultimately were okay with it. The Jedi would reform to allow love to not be looked down upon anymore in the Order, and if anything, they knew that Anakin's kids would be powerful in the Force, and wanted them to be brought into the Jedi Order early, as they would make a great asset for the Order. Years later, as Anakin looked over the city skyline of Coruscant from the Jedi Temple, he reflected on the choices that had brought him here. It faced darkness, fear, and many other perils, but his faith in the Jedi Order had guided him through it all. His family was safe, Luke and Leia would be trained to become Jedi in their own right, and he was able to express his love for Padme now and true. The galaxy was at peace, and the Jedi Order was stronger than ever.